The boardroom air conditioning was aggressive. I felt it on my skin, but not in my core. I was ice. He stood by the mahogany table, shoulders back, a predatory smile aimed at the 5 faces who mattered. My presentation deck, my sleepless nights, my intellectual property was up on the screen behind him. He didn't even glance at it. "You need to watch and learn," he sneered, tossing the tablet onto the chair I wasn't allowed to sit in. "This isn't your league, Michael. Not yet. Not yet." The words were a whisper against the roaring silence inside my skull. He was so confident in the theft, in the lie. He thought I was just another intern, a useful idiot to be discarded after he'd filleted my strategy and packaged it as his own. He thought his arrogant smile was unassailable. He had no idea that hours ago I'd found the paper trail, a series of blurred, low-resolution photos of him and my fiancée, taken by a private investigator I hadn't told anyone about. The photos were the proof of the betrayal. Not the office affair, I'd suspected that for months. No, the sickening, deeper lie, the forged documents proving he was funneling shell company profits from our biggest investor, my mentor, into his private accounts. The infidelity was the bait that led me to the real disease. The manipulation was his nature. My silence in the last 12 hours wasn't shock. It was the meticulous construction of a cage. His voice droned on, a self-congratulatory monologue about my metrics, my projections, his now. He was making the sale. He was cementing his ascent with my foundations. I watched his throat, not his eyes. I imagined the pressure point. The boardroom door opened with a soft, expensive click. Every head turned. His pitch stopped mid-sentence. In walked Eleanor Vance, my mentor, the single largest investor in this firm, the woman who taught me that ruthless revenge is just delayed corporate restructuring. She didn't look at my boss. She didn't look at me. Her eyes scanned the directors, the quorum. "Good morning," she announced, her voice calm, a chilling velvet. She walked to the head of the table, her presence instantly reducing my boss's expensive suit to a cheap costume. She didn't ask permission. She took the seat. "I have a quorum," she stated, sliding a leather folder, my evidence, triple-stamped and notarized, to the director closest to her. My boss's arrogant smile was still there, but it was cracking. A hairline fracture of sheer panic. "Eleanor, what are you doing? We're discussing the Q4 pitch," he stammered, the confidence dissolving into slime. She met his gaze, finally. Her eyes were colder than mine. "First vote," she said, her voice dropping a fraction, the air becoming impossibly heavy. "Leadership review." The smile melted. It didn't fade. It dripped off his face. He watched, helpless, as the director opened the folder and his entire world, the stolen pitch, the shell company fraud, the betrayal, slid out onto the polished wood. He was silent, shattered. I felt nothing but the quiet, controlled satisfaction of the perfectly executed strategy. His panic was distracting him. He still didn't understand that the pitch was never the point. I looked at his broken face one last time. I had warned him. You teach a man to fish, he eats for a lifetime. You teach him how to lie, he'll hang himself with the line. And I always kept the sharpest hook. I turned and walked to the door. I didn't wait for the vote. The destruction was complete. He was no longer my problem. He was an audit footnote. My victory wasn't loud. It was absolute. And it felt like silence.